Hey guys, this is a quick video on how to upgrade a freewheel from a Vilano Atom electric folding bike. Of course, this it could apply to any folding bike that's electric. I'm replacing out the old Shimano, the original Shimano 14 to 32 tooth freewheel with a 11 to 30 teeth freewheel. So I got to increase my top speed on this bike. Basically, I just had to order it. The reason why I did it was just for the top speed. This DNP Freewheel is the only one that actually goes that low, other than going into a cassette version of this. But yeah, just make sure before you start this project, one, you should be a little bit skilled with bikes or a little bit of electric skills too. You want to take a lot of photos before you do it, and if you're not confident with this, please don't do it, and you should probably do this all on your own risk. You need a little bit of space. If you have a bike stand, that'd be great, to do it. To repair, but most of it you basically need to buy a few parts, and all the parts are linked on the in the description below. You need the Park Tool FR 1.3 to remove the freewheels, as well as the freewheel itself. You need general tools like a hex set, as well as pliers, screwdrivers, and crescent wrench, as well as a cutter if you need to, and tweezers. I've also bought a grommet, 1-inch grommet in diameter, so because of some other things this bike needs, and some crescent wrenches to take off the wheel, as well as the freewheel to get some leverage, as well as a utility knife to just basically, reinstall stuff. So let's get on to it. So on our first test, right, using the original freewheel at the highest gear, the max I could get by doing crazy pedaling, just by regular feet and legs, is roughly around 20-22 kilometers per hour. So not really that sustained because that's like a sprint already. So that means you're not really going that fast. With a new freewheel, you could get roughly around closer to about 30 with a 11 tooth to, I don't know how big that middle one, the crank ring is, but you roughly get about 30 kilometers per hour, which is roughly around 18 miles per hour for people using miles per hour. And of course, if you used the assist power for this thing, the Vilano Atom, yeah, basically you could get up to about 30 with just this, but with assist it goes right up to 40. So this kind of helps it along, because before going at 18 miles, going at 12 miles or 13 miles per hour doesn't really help. With the assist it goes to 40, so now the assist doesn't have to work as hard. You can always float at about 30-ish. Anyways, put the bike up. You got to remove that battery, power down the bike, pull the battery out, test everything out first. Then you just remove the screws, the 4 screws on the rear half of the bike. There's 4 screws that come out that were connects it. You want to take out those screws. Be careful of all the wires that come out. You just want to slowly pull out the wire. You don't want to pull anything or move anything abruptly. You want to basically hook the controller, the brushless motor controller, and all the wires with a big wire. Just use a hanger or something like that so it won't fall or pull anything that you don't want to pull. You want to trace it so you can find the wire that leads to the back hub. It's the multicolored one that actually has a lot of things connected to it with these clips as well. So you have like a power, then you have 2 controller clips and 1 white one that basically, I don't know what that is, probably neutral, I don't know. Anywho, I'm not electrically inclined or special or anything. I'm just basically tinkering. So after finding that cable that reaches it into the controller, it's this one, and then I'm just going to basically unplug the power first. And of course, do this at your own risk. Please, if you're not good with bikes, please don't do this. If you're not good with electronics or anything else, please do this all at your own risk. You're risking almost a $600-$700 electric bike just to upgrade the freewheels. But you'll learn a lot from this video, and also you'll learn a lot from doing this exercise, because in case you ever have to take that rear wheel off, you have to go through this to remove that freewheel or anything else, if you're going to change out the hub or anything else like that. Because otherwise you can't get this thing out of the, you can't run a tool through this. But you basically just want to clip all the clips and the power from that cable, so you could string the cable out. I tried this before and totally messed up because I didn't have the tool ready, and I thought you could just basically take this out and easily switch this thing and run it through the thing, but all those little clips and stuff was a big hindrance, these combination clips. So you have to remove those combination clips off before you can pull this wire out, of the hub. So tracing the hub right now. Basically, that one wire, just want to make sure it's the right one, goes to the back of the hub. So it goes follow through underneath. There's a hole on the bottom of that center cavity, and then it goes along the frame and it goes back to the hub. So that hub and the little spring, that all goes powers and also controls that hub motor in the back. So we'll go ahead and take off these
take a photo of this thing first.
These combination harnesses. So to do that, you basically need your pair of tweezers, and you're going to basically depress each of those little springy type of a hook, or not really a hook, it's just a springy thing. A little clip that pops up. You'll need your knife later to basically, push those things back up so they'll hold up clip again. But basically, you're depressing it down and doing a slight tug. You don't want to do it very hard. Be really careful, and it should just come out. But you have to unlock it first on the top. So just make sure you take a photo of the position of these things, push it down, and then it slips out. Easy as that. It's not hard, but at the same time, it does take time. And this is almost the hardest part. This is the most delicate part of this whole process. Took me a long time the first time to do it, and then after a while, I took a photo and I was like, okay, this is how I do it. And basically, I did one by one. I did each of those little clips out. But yeah, it actually helps to actually take photos first, because you'll realize that you don't know where, you kind of forget which one goes to where. And make a mark on, I made a mark on this connector, like an X on it, so that I know which was the top side, but it really only fits one way, but I just want to make sure the order is correct in terms of red, green, blue, white, red, whatever. But definitely, yeah, you want to unleash each of these clips just by gently pushing it down and tugging it off. But it comes off pretty much by itself after you unlock the top clip. So that's really about it. It might look hard, but the red one was actually the hardest, because I don't know why, but it was. And eventually, when I started on the bottom from the black to blue to yellow, those went out really, really quick. Anywho, guys, a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about here, they are on the links below, along with the tools or anything else. But most of these are regular tools, except for that freewheel remover, that Park Tool FR 1.3, and ordering up the freewheel. That's really the only thing you need to order: the freewheel remover and the freewheel, the new freewheel. There's nothing else you really need other than this bike. But the stuff you learn from this bike, you can actually apply to any other electric bike, hub motor bike, because you basically remove these things out to get a tool into that cable. In the past, I used, as you can see, I'm almost done with this thing. In the past, I actually had my Shimano freewheel remover tool. It worked to remove it, but it just didn't have any clearance to get this cable through, so it didn't work for this application. That's why I had to order the tool, and it took me another week or two of waiting to get that tool and also the freewheel. But this is the second time I took this bike apart, so the first time it just, I just realized I didn't have the right tool, and then I had to put everything back together and do it again. But this is a pretty risky thing to do. If you, like I said before, disclaimer, don't, you're doing this on your own risk. Basically this is pretty fun, but you are risking a $600-700 bike doing this. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt, whatever you want to do. But like I said, just make sure you document everything and just be really slow and careful what you're doing. Okay, now that socket is removed, we're just going to double check that all the cables are there, nothing got broken, because I sure as heck don't want to resolder stuff. Put everything to the side. I'm going to basically run this cable back out and take it out of its cable management runs along the frame. And as you can see, when you actually pull this thing down, the grommet on the back, or it really does need a grommet on that hole in the back, because it is kind of sharp. And I don't know why they didn't put a grommet, or at least shave that the aluminum so it's a little more, it's less sharp. But anywho, I figure they probably think it's already covered with good cable housing. Anywho, basically you want to unleash, take off the cable management off this and unhook this cable that goes all the way to the hub. And that's really about it. Then that's the hardest part, really, is to take off all those little pins and stuff, and then take off the wheel. But no, that's a lot where the brain power went. So here's the fun part. You trace it there. You want to be really careful of that rubber the rubber cap, slowly pull it out. Be careful of the wire, you don't want to bend the wire. There is a spring that actually protects the wire from being overly bent, but it only does so much. So keep the spring where it is. You know, count where the washers are, because that's very important. You want to match the washers and directional washers. There's two directional washers on this thing on both sides. You want to make sure you know where they are. Take a photo of it if you need to. But yeah, the photo definitely helps. I was lost after I tried to figure out where the heck the washers went when I tried to reassemble this thing went. So anywho, go ahead and loosen up the two bolts. You can take the wheel off now. Use some crusher wrenches. It's all good. And just loosen it up, and you can take the whole thing out now. After you take it off, just again, be careful of the wire, and just make sure it goes nice and slow. You got to take it off of that chain, and you go screw off all the nuts and washers off, and you go basically run the wires through the Park tool, FR 1.3, so you get over it. That little nut, you don't have to touch it. The Park tool will go right over it. It doesn't block it at all. So once you go over it, you're going to basically take a larger crusher wrench, and you're going to basically, loosen the thing. Once it's loosened, you can actually remove it with your hand, because it's a relatively new bike. If it was there for like a year or two of biking, it's going to be pretty tight. But if not, just use some leverage and basically remove that freewheel. Just you want to loosen it, then do it by hand. To put the new one on, you basically put the new freewheel, string it through the wire, and screw it in. You want to do it backwards. Make sure screw it in backwards a little so it doesn't catch a thread, and make sure nothing goes haywire, and then hand tighten it all the way in. If there's any sort of catch or anything, you might want to redo it and take it off, and just make sure there's you don't thread anything wrong. But hand tightening is fine, and then that's really about it. You're pretty much halfway there already. Here's the fun part: run the wires through the nuts and bolts again. Beware of the direction of that washer, because it goes on the downside of that axle. So you go tighten everything back up, reverse everything, plug in everything back in, crimp some of the cables that goes loose, like those power cables, and use the knife and move some of those clips up so that it has a little bit of friction, so it clips onto those sockets well. And like I said, use the knife and run it underneath and pry it up a little so it has a more friction. Put a grommet there if you want. It's totally optional, but it saves the fact that it cuts any wire in the future. And that's about it. You still need to retune your 7-speed to actually match, and so you're high and low, and that's about it, guys. Hey guys, thanks for watching again. I actually spent a little more time to readjust that new freewheel with the shifters and everything else, so that everything worked well and didn't make any noise or anything like that. Anyways, guys, if you liked this video, please like, subscribe, and for more, and stay tuned for more. Any of the stuff used in this video was actually linked in the description below, and to links to Amazon or anything else. So in case you need to buy it, that's fine. In terms of future videos, I'm planning to probably work on my fat bike as well as this bike. So stay tuned for more. See you next time, guys. Have a great one. Bye.